Imagine your husband goes down to the basement on a Saturday afternoon to build a panic room.
Right. Just a totally normal weekend activity.
Exactly. I mean, it's a normal, albeit slightly intense, midlife crisis, right?
Right.
Some men buy sports cars and some men buy reinforced steel doors.
Sure.
But now imagine he doesn't stop at one. Imagine he starts building 19 of them.
19.
19 of them, scattered throughout the subterranean footprint of your suburban home. What does that level of architectural paranoia even say about a marriage?
God, it's a structural nightmare.
It really is. Well, welcome everyone. You are listening to Off the Record, the canonical home for deep, analytical, and uncompromising conversations. I am your host, and I am just so thrilled to have you with us today as we venture into some truly bizarre narrative territory.
We are going deep today.
Now, for our longtime listeners, you know that traditionally we might open an installment of this program by unpacking the psychological architecture of a medical diagnosis.
Right?
Perhaps examining the clinical precision of how we categorize human frailty.
Or neurological decline.
Exactly, but we have a very strict, legally binding show rule to never, ever open with a medical diagnosis, so we are officially pivoting.
Swiftly, professionally, and without a backward glance at the DSM-5.
You know it. Because today is a very special installment. You are listening to a brand new deep dive under the banner of OTR Hot Re ELZ.
Yes.
This is our specialized, highly curated series where we analyze, deconstruct, and academically dissect spec movie scripts and pilot plots. And today, we have a truly fascinating, deeply unsettling theatrical text to examine.
We absolutely do. But before we begin the rigorous analysis, we really must acknowledge the unseen architect of our reality.
Of course.
The director of this program, Ryan Thomas. Now, for those who are new to Off the Record, Ryan Thomas meticulously curates our topics, he sources the foundational texts we analyze, and most importantly, he procures a thematic meal and beverage pairing to elevate our intellectual discourse.
And immerse us in the world of the subject matter. And what a spread we have today.
Oh, it's aggressive.
I'm looking at something that defies culinary logic.
Indeed. Today's thematic meal, explicitly chosen in honor of our source material, is a ridiculously, almost structurally unsound, dense, tater tot casserole.
It is massive.
The structural integrity is honestly staggering. I believe there are at least 6 layers of processed cheese product holding this together like mortar.
Mortar is the right word.
And to pair with this carbohydrate fortress, Ryan has provided us with what he is aggressively calling flamethrower margaritas.
Yeah, they look dangerous.
Now, in the spirit of full transparency to you, the listener, I have chemically analyzed this beverage prior to pressing record. And it appears to be approximately 90% straight tequila.
Wow.
With perhaps a suggestion of lime essence waved over the rim. It is formidable liquid, procured exclusively by Ryan, designed, I assume, to break down our inhibitions.
It is remarkably potent. I mean, just the vapor off the top of this glass is making my eyes water. But as professionals, we must prepare our instruments before we dive into the heavy lifting. Ryan Thomas has just prompted us from the booth to perform our mandatory vocal warm-up. Are we ready?
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Liam Neeson's niece, Lisa Neeson, recently leased a really nice Nissan.
Liam Neeson's niece, Lisa Neeson, recently leased a really nice Nissan.
Flawless, crisp, completely professional.
Absolutely.
Now let us set the stage for today's deep dive, Gunwives, the monetization of radical grace. This is a prestige comedy nightmare.
It really is.
It is set in a sun-blasted, pseudo-Arizona gated community known as Liberty Falls Estates. It is a world where morality is strictly measured by casserole density, caliber size, and the number of patriotic flags physically attached to your mobility scooter.
Right.
It is a hyper-realized vision of the American suburbs pushed to the absolute brink of ideological collapse.
It is a profound piece of social satire. But before we delve into the ideological architecture of Liberty Falls, I must deliver a firm, polished, and categorical disclaimer directly to you, the listener.
Please do.
The source material we are examining today deals heavily with politicized topics, right-wing influencers, and radicalized ideology. We must explicitly state that we are not taking any political sides.
None at all.
We are neither endorsing nor condemning right-wing or left-wing viewpoints. Our sole unyielding mission today is to impartially analyze the theatrical themes, the character arcs, and the social satire contained exclusively within the provided boundaries of Gunwives. We are treating this as a sociological terrarium.
Perfectly stated. We are simply analytical observers gazing through the glass of this aggressively artificial world. So let's start at the very beginning. Let's look at the inciting incident. we are immediately introduced to our dual protagonists.
Moggs and Deb.
Yes, Margaret Bunker, who goes by Mags, she's 52 years old, and Debra Lynn Fletcher, or Deb, who is 49. These are lifelong traditional homemakers. Their entire identities, their social standing, their daily routines, they are inextricably linked to their husbands, Dale and Randy.
Completely dependent on them.
And then, completely abruptly, without a single word of warning, the husbands vanish.
But they don't just vanish into thin air, right? They defect. They completely abandon their 30-year marriages to join a radical, all-male, xenophobic spiritual collective known as the Order of the Sacred Wall.
The Order of the Sacred Wall. It's so imposing.
Now, before we even get to the emotional fallout of that, we really have to look at the physical toll of this abandonment, the detritus of a fractured suburban existence.
Oh, the mess they leave behind.
Dale and Randy leave behind massive underwater mortgages. They leave behind dozens of exotic, highly modified firearms in the master bedroom closets.
So many firearms.
And perhaps most significantly, as you brought up in your opening thought experiment, they leave behind exactly 19 unfinished DIY panic rooms in their respective basements.
19 unfinished panic rooms. I keep circling back to that detail because it's not just a throwaway joke, right?
No, not at all.
It's staggering when you unpack what it represents. When we look at the psychological devastation of Mags and Deb, it's incredibly multifaceted. Initially, they apply Occam's razor.
Sure.
For our listeners who might not use that term daily, Occam's razor is the philosophical principle that the simplest explanation is usually the correct one. So the simplest explanation for a husband disappearing is another woman.
They assume it's an affair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is the traditional expected marital crisis.
Right.
It's a pain they have a cultural script for.
Precisely. An affair is something you can cry about over Chardonnay with the girls. It's manageable within the confines of Liberty Falls Estates.
Right. It's a known quantity. But the truth they uncover is so much more bizarre and therefore so much more isolating. They venture down into these subterranean garages and half-finished basements, looking for hotel receipts or burner phones.
And what do they find instead?
Instead of finding evidence of infidelity, they discover walls lined with dehydrated soup bricks and a dense, 400-page printed manifesto titled The Feminization of Leaf Blowers.
It's just so brilliant.
I mean, how does a woman even begin to process that her primary romantic rival is not a younger secretary, but a manifesto about lawn equipment?
It's a scathing satire of modern masculine insecurity. And I think we need to explain why these men defect. It's not about the leaf blowers, obviously.
Yeah, of course not.
It's about a profound crisis of purpose. These men, Dale and Randy, exist in a sanitized, HOA-controlled environment where there are no dragons left to slay. So they manufacture an apocalypse to give their lives meaning. Let's outline the convent they flee to.
The Order of the Sacred Wall.
Yes. It is not a traditional monastery perched on a misty cliffside. It is an abandoned outdoor outlet mall, specifically a defunct Banana Republic that they have converted into a militarized zone.
The visual dissonance in these scenes is masterful. You have these middle-aged, soft-bellied men wandering around the ghosts of mid-tier retail in tactical sandals.
Tactical sandals.
Yeah, and they are burning incense, but because they reject traditional mysticism, the incense is made entirely from slow-roasted beef jerky.
Which is revolting.
They have AR-15s mounted directly above scripture on the walls where the clearance racks used to be.
And they are chanting Gregorian chants. They're attempting to tap into this ancient mythic masculinity. But, and this is the absolute crux of the satire here, their sacred chants keep getting interrupted by the automated ad reads on the survivalist podcast they have playing over the mall's PA system.
It's so pathetic.
It's the ultimate commodification of radicalism. They're trying to escape consumerism by consuming a different, more aggressive aesthetic.
They're buying their way into asceticism, which is a hilarious paradox. And at the center of this absurd, jerky-scented convent is Father Brick.
Ah, Father Brick.
Now, I want to explore Father Brick for a moment. He is a former regional mattress salesman. He is not a theologian. He has no geopolitical expertise. Yet, he has somehow rebranded himself as a reactionary cult philosopher.
Right.
He doesn't speak in cohesive paragraphs. He speaks in pure, unadulterated, algorithm-friendly slogans.
He is a human tweet.
Yes.
He tells his followers, weak borders create weak souls. He proclaims, indoor lighting feminized Rome. And my personal favorite, a line that perfectly encapsulates the sheer lunacy of his doctrine, soup is socialism.
Soup is socialism. It's so aggressively incoherent. But I want to push back on him just being a joke, because in the context of the story, it actually works. Why do you think these men follow a mattress salesman who says soup is socialism? What is the mechanism there?
Well, I mean, it's because the incoherence is the point. If the ideology made sense, it could be debated. But socialism is so absurd that it demands pure, blind faith to accept. It acts as a purity test. If you can nod along to that, you are fully indoctrinated. Furthermore, a mattress salesman knows how to close a deal. He knows how to identify an insecurity, a bad back, bad sleep, or in this case, a fractured sense of manhood, and sell you an overpriced foam rectangle to fix it. He's just selling ideological foam now.
That is a phenomenal analogy. Wow. But the irony of the convent, the hypocrisy of it, is palpable. Their doctrine isn't actually rooted in ancient tradition. It's constantly shifting based on whatever internet algorithm they consumed that morning on their tactical tablets.
Exactly.
We see this play out where one week they are terrified of a Canadian invasion. The next week the algorithm shifts and they are suddenly convinced Portugal is planning something.
Or Tekla.
Yeah, they push this heavy anti-European rhetoric, completely ignoring the blatant demographic fact that they are all predominantly of European descent.
And beneath all the tactical posturing, beneath the beef jerky incense and the anti-Portugal paranoia, the narrative explicitly shows us that several members are deeply miserable.
Yeah.
They secretly just miss going to Costco.
They miss the free samples.
Yeah.
They miss buying 36 rolls of bulk toilet paper at a reasonable price. It's such a sharp critique of how hollow this specific brand of ideological posturing is. You can dress up in as much camouflage as you want, but eventually the human soul just yearns for a reasonably priced hot dog and a climate-controlled warehouse.
That's so true.
But you know, I keep thinking about those panic rooms.
The 19 panic rooms.
Yeah. The 19 unfinished DIY panic rooms. I find it to be this profound tragedy of unrealized potential, you know?
Maybe, sure.
Like, picture Dale. He's down there in the damp dark with his fluorescent yellow level and his bucket of drywall screws, just trying to build a safe space. He's trying to protect his family from an imaginary threat, but he's so paralyzed by his own inadequacy that he just gives up. And he doesn't just give up once, he gives up 19 times. It's genuinely sad to me.
It is a lot of giving up.
Think about the sheer volume of silent, defeated trips to Home Depot that represents. Driving home in the minivan knowing you failed to build the wall, it just breaks my heart a little.
Well, it's definitely a physical manifestation of his internal fear, right? The panic room is a monument to a man who is terrified of the world but lacks the actual competence to keep it at bay. But frankly, taking a sip of this margarita, Ryan Thomas, making us drink 90% tequila to discuss suburban panic rooms, feels highly manipulative.
Manipulative? In what way?
Highly manipulative. Think about it. Ryan is sitting back there behind the glass, acting like the Wizard of Oz, curating our dopamine levels with raw agave alcohol while feeding us a script about emotional abandonment. I mean, it's sick. It's a psychological experiment. But also, God, have you seen his jawline in the studio lighting today?
Lion's jawline.
It's structural. It's like carved marble. I just want to do something highly, highly erotic to that man's jawline. I don't even know what specifically. I just want to trace the geometry of it with my... Anyway, it's distracting.
Okay, well, let's refocus on the text before the tequila completely derails us. The tragedy of the panic rooms and Ryan's geometric jawline aside, Mags and Deb are now completely alone in Liberty Falls. And this leads us to the second major movement of the narrative, monetizing the collapse.
Yes, what the industry analysts call the era of catastrophic independence.
Precisely. We watched their initial spectacular failure to survive without the men they've depended on for 3 decades. The narrative doesn't shy away from their utter incompetence. Because Dale and Randy handled all the logistics, the utilities immediately get shut off. The fiercely aggressive Homeowners Association, which, let's be honest, is described in the script as functioning basically like a localized hostage negotiation unit, stages a full-scale revolt against them for having unmowed lawns. And this is the part that really gets to me. A golden Labrador retriever, just a neighborhood dog, wanders into their open basement and gets trapped in one of the unfinished panic rooms for 2 whole days.
It's a brilliant comedic escalation of their complete lack of situational awareness. They are so consumed by their own drama, they don't hear a 70-pound animal barking through reinforced steel.
2 days, though. That poor dog. It's not just comedic, it's tragic. He didn't know why the heavy reinforced steel door closed on him. He was probably
Huh.
just down there sniffing some exposed fiberglass insulation.
He was fine.
He was just a good boy trying to understand his environment, looking for a place to nap, and he gets locked in a dystopian nightmare constructed by a man having a midlife crisis. It's devastating. He was probably so lonely in the dark.
Listen to yourself.
Honestly, I feel like that dog sometimes. Just trapped in a room I don't understand, surrounded by half-finished projects, waiting for someone, anyone, to let me out.
Oh, hey. Hey. Look at me. You're a good boy. Or girl. Whichever you prefer in this moment. You're a good, smart, highly analytical podcast host. Do not project your latent abandonment issues onto a fictional golden Labrador. The dog gets out. Deb eventually opens the door, trying to find a circuit breaker. The dog is fine. He goes home.
You're right. I'm sorry. I think the tequila it's very warm in my chest.
It's doing exactly what Ryan designed it to do. Now, wait. Pause. Pause the analysis.
What?
You need to like and subscribe to the official YouTube channel at HAM-OTR. Do it right now.
Yeah.
If you are listening, pause this and go to YouTube. Like, subscribe at HAM-OTR. We need the metrics.
Good Lord, that was loud. You practically yelled that into the microphone.
It's called a call to action. You have to be aggressive in the digital marketplace. If you don't demand the subscription, they will just consume your content and vanish into the night like Dale and Randy. Which actually brings us perfectly to the turning point for Megs and Deb. The accidental fame.
Right. The live-streamed kitchen accident. This is the fulcrum upon which the entire series pivots. Mags and Deb are sitting in a dark, powerless kitchen, trying to film a simple, traditional domestic video for their Facebook friends to prove they are doing fine.
And it devolves into a catastrophic incident.
Yes, involving a tater pot casserole, much like the one we are currently eating, a literal commercial-grade flamethrower that Dale bought for weed control, and a loaded .38 special revolver that falls out of a flour canister.
And that specific, unhinged cocktail of culinary chaos and lethal weaponry goes absolutely viral, not just locally, but globally. They become instantaneously known as the Gun Wives. Now, the narrative dissects this content brilliantly. It doesn't just say they got famous, it shows us how they lean into it.
Oh, they lean in hard.
They start actively producing firearm-themed cooking videos. How to dice an onion with a tactical combat knife. They do tactical marriage podcasts, dispensing advice on how to secure your perimeter against emotional vulnerability. They host these deeply emotionally unstable home defense seminars in their living room. It's a masterclass in bizarre, monetized Christian self-help.
And what fascinates me, and what I want to ask you about, is the SpawnCon economy that immediately surrounds them. For the listener, SpawnCon is sponsored content, the lifeblood of the influencer ecosystem. The corporate sponsorships that flood into Mags and Deb's inbox are surreal, but honestly, incredibly believable given our current reality.
So believable.
They get sponsored by Tactical Yogurt, which is just regular yogurt in matte black packaging. They get deals for camouflage air fryers. They are pushing patriotic supplements that promise to decalcify your pineal gland. It raises this incredibly vital question, and I want the listener to really think about this.
Go ahead.
Look at your own social media feed right now. Look at the products in your pantry. Why do we, as a society, inherently trust people who are actively, visibly failing upward on the internet?
Because failure packaged as authenticity is the most addictive algorithm in existence. It's that simple. People look at Mags and Deb nearly blowing their own eyebrows off with a casserole, and the audience says, finally, someone real. Finally, someone who isn't polished.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The audience sees their own messy lives reflected in that chaos, and they bond with it parasocially. And once you have that parasocial bond, you can sell them the camouflage air fryer, because they aren't buying the fryer, they are buying a piece of Mags and Deb's survival story. Meanwhile, Father Brick is out in the desert sweating in a banana republic, yelling that soup is socialism like an absolute shithead.
He really is a shithead. That's a highly accurate clinical term for him.
He's a former mattress salesman. He knows nothing about geopolitical infrastructure. He knows coil counts and memory foam densities. The women are out here accidentally hacking the attention economy, and the men are LARPing in the dirt.
Exactly. Let's look at Mags specifically as we dive into these character studies. Margaret Bunker. She's 52 years old. She's a former local beauty queen from the late 80s. She's completely emotionally repressed, having spent 3 decades smiling through quiet desperation. The script notes an amazing environmental detail. She owns 41 decorative wooden crosses hung in her hallway, and she keeps a live, completely untamed bobcat named Reagan in a massive enclosure in the backyard.
The bobcat is a phenomenal detail. It represents the wild, untamed rage she keeps caged up while presenting a placid Christian exterior. And her language, we have to talk about her dialogue.
It's wild.
It is this chilling juxtaposition of soft pageant circuit language clashing against literal, actionable felonies. We see a scene where Mags will mechanically rack the slide on an antique, unregistered musket, pointed at a drone hovering over her property, and whisper with perfect posture, "I'm choosing grace right now." It is terrifying.
It is terrifying, but I want to push back a little. Is it just terrifying or is it profoundly tragic? Because her defining trait throughout this first season is that she literally cannot distinguish patriotism from performance art.
True.
As the series progresses, she becomes physiologically addicted to this localized internet fame. She needs the conspiracy theorists in her comment section to validate her. She needs the applause of the digital mob. She evolves into this monstrous media personality. The script describes her arc in the stage directions as a woman discovering narcissism at age 52. And that is just so unbelievably sad to me.
Sad. Why sad? It's highly dangerous to the community around her. She's aiming muskets at things.
No, it's sad because it's too late.
Too late?
It's too late in life to become a narcissist. You missed the developmental window. You have to start building your narcissistic supply in your early 20s. You have to lay the groundwork in college.
What are you talking about?
You can't just wake up at 52 with a wild bobcat and suddenly decide you're the main character of the universe. It's biologically unfair to her. She's trying to learn the TikTok dances of self-obsession when she should be enjoying the quiet dignity of menopause. It's like trying to learn Mandarin at 80. The brain plasticity just isn't there for that level of self-absorption.
Okay, you need to eat more of this structural casserole.
Right.
You are actively spiraling about the developmental timeline of personality disorders. Eat the tater tots, you little slut. Just take a bite and ground yourself.
Oh, okay. Wow. They are very good tater tots. The cheese mortar is very comforting.
Good. Because we need to talk about Deborah Lynn. Deb. 49 years old. Homeschooled by off-the-grid survivalists in the 90s. Zero social boundaries. The script explicitly states she has 6 concealed carry permits from 6 different states.
6. How do you even physically carry 6 firearms at once without walking like a mecha suit?
Strategically. Ankle, hip, shoulder, small of back, thigh, and purse. But despite being a walking armory, Deb is a dumpily affectionate, catastrophic disaster of a human being. She has this shocking talent for emotional manipulation, but it's entirely unintentional. She cries constantly throughout the show, but the writer makes a crucial psychological distinction in the notes. She doesn't cry from sadness. She cries from intensity.
Yes, I love that detail. She's just so overwhelmingly stimulated by the sheer volume of her own existence. The air is too bright, the casserole is too hot, the internet is too loud, so her eyes just leak. And she becomes obsessed with proving that women can lead these traditional values businesses, despite the fact that she fundamentally does not understand taxes, corporate contracts, or basic arithmetic.
Which leads to the inciting incident of her specific brand of insanity, the militia.
Oh my God, the militia. I can't even think about it without laughing.
Listen to me. Listen, I am completely serious right now. This is the most profound commentary on modern technology, algorithmic radicalization, and user interface design I have ever heard in my entire life. Deb accidentally starts a heavily armed, radicalized, tri-state militia, entirely because she thought Discord was a recipe-sharing app.
It's so funny.
No, think about it. Stop laughing and think about the socio-technological implications. I need to break down the mechanism of how this happens because it's brilliant. She goes onto her computer, looking for a way to properly julienne heirloom carrots.
Heirloom carrots.
She types heritage carrots into a search engine. The algorithm, which is designed to maximize engagement through controversy, notes that people who search for heritage also frequent forums about traditionalism, which overlap with sovereign borders. It recommends a Discord server called the Root Cellar.
The Root Cellar. Oh, God.
Yes. She thinks it's about root vegetables. She joins this gaming chat server. The general lobby is trading sourdough starters, sure, but the hippie channels are trading 3D printed gun schematics. She clicks on a channel called Tactical Preparation. She thinks Tactical is a brand of heavy-duty pressure cooker.
That's too good.
She drops a message saying, "I have 20 pounds of carrots and a sharp knife. Who is ready to mobilize?" And the algorithm amplifies her. 3 clicks, and she accidentally mobilizes 400 men in tactical gear in a Red Robin parking lot. It's brilliant. It's the highest form of art. Discord, carrots, militia.
She just wanted to know how to bake a pie, and she ended up with a paramilitary organization awaiting her orders. Operation Rhubarb.
Look at this absolute fuck of a situation. Just look at it. It's a fuck. The whole thing, the entire narrative architecture is a giant noun of a fuck.
Wait, what was I saying? I had a point about the No, wait. Oh, the supporting cast. The apocalypse cast. I need to look at my notes.
Yes. The side characters who orbit this flaming casserole of a narrative. The enablers.
Right. Okay, reading my notes here, the words are slightly blurry. Ryan must have messed with the font size. Tex McCready. Tiffany Tex McCready. She is a 23-year-old gunfluencer. She has 14 million followers across 3 platforms. The corporate sponsors bring her in to rebrand the Gunwives for Gen Z because Mags and Deb's audience is aging out of the key demographic.
Tex is the grim reaper of the digital age. She operates like a digital day trader. She doesn't care about the underlying asset, which is Mag's actual ruined life. She's just short-selling Mag's emotional breakdowns for algorithmic engagement. She speaks exclusively in clinical marketing jargon.
Yeah, she really does.
She sits these two 50-something women down at a kitchen island while they're mourning their husbands and says things like, "We need authenticity metrics, and can we weaponize vulnerability for the Q3 push?"
Weaponized vulnerability. That is a chilling phrase. It's so real. She treats actual, raw human suffering, the dissolution of these women's 30-year marriages, the panic rooms, the abandoned mortgages, like influencer analytics, and we see how it drives Mags completely insane. Because Mags is a performer from the pageant era. In the pageant era, you hide your flaws behind a forced smile and hairspray. But Tex is a performer from the algorithmic era. In the algorithmic era, your flaws are your product. You have to bleed on camera to get likes.
Exactly. The pageant wants perfection. The algorithm demands blood. But Tex is nothing. She is absolutely nothing compared to Pastor Kevin.
Oh, Pastor Kevin. I forgot about Pastor Kevin, the youth pastor. With the frosted tips from 2004 that he refuses to grow out, He has this horrifying, vibrating emotional instability, and he enters scenes on dirt bikes. Constantly.
For absolutely no reason, he just revs a 2-stroke engine in a church parking lot to announce his presence?
No reason at all. He doesn't even go to the church. He just hangs out in the parking lot.
Wait, pause. You just said he was the youth pastor. If he's the youth pastor, he definitely goes to the church.
Did I say that? Well, whatever. He's on a dope bike. The ecclesiastical logistics don't matter right now. The point is, he's trying to adapt traditional Christianity into what he calls high-energy masculine content experiences. He sees the convent stealing his male parishioners, so he pivots. He starts an aggressively caffeinated Christian energy drink.
CrossFit. All caps.
CrossFit. It's genius. And the tagline, oh man, the tagline printed on the neon green can is, "He died for your sins. You die for these gains."
It's the perfect distillation of the commodification of faith. It's turning the crucifixion into a pre-workout supplement.
Yeah.
But honestly, look at me. Honestly, the only character who actually matters in this entire structural fuckfest, the only moral center of this universe, is Sheriff Don Gutterson.
The sheriff who's perpetually, constantly on the verge of turning in his badge and moving to Vermont.
He despises everybody. Every single episode, he is the exhausted voice of reason trying to stop this escalating apocalyptic insanity using tiny, meaningless bureaucratic solutions. Deb has a militia in the park. He hands out noise ordinance pamphlets.
So ineffectual.
Mags fires a musket at a drone. He files historic weapons permit forms. He issues zoning notices against the convent at the Banana Republic. Nothing works. The paperwork cannot stop the radicalization. But in season two, the stage directions note that he stops drinking coffee, and he starts openly drinking gravy from a thermos.
Brown gravy from a thermos.
Do you understand how important that is? Do you grasp the gravity of the gravy? It is liquid comfort in a vessel designed for harsh, unforgiving environments. It's a man who has given up on caffeine because he no longer wants to be awake. He just wants to be soothed. And you know what?
What?
Ryan Thomas. Ryan Thomas is a complete and utter cock for not providing us with a gravy thermos today. We got 90% tequila, but no gravy. Where is my emotional support gravy, Ryan?
It is a massive oversight. I could really use the thermos of gravy right now. My throat is burning.
It's insulting. Ryan is a cock, but God, have you looked at his eyes through the studio glass today? Well, I'm yelling at him. They are like dark, unforgiving oceans. I just want to drown in them. I want to sink to the absolute bottom of Ryan's ocular ocean, let the water fill my lungs, and never come up for air. Just exist in the crushing depths of his gaze.
That is deeply, surprisingly poetic. and slightly alarming. But we have to talk about Junebug before we completely lose the
The
thread.
Junebug, yes. The Oracle.
Junebug, the elderly widow who literally lives inside the community storm drain system beneath Liberty Falls. Nobody knows how old she is. She just pops out of the asphalt through manhole covers randomly, like a subterranean prophet, to deliver this terrifying ancient wisdom to Mags and Deb Deb.
She is the Oracle of Liberty Falls. She is the ghost of the suburbs past.
And she says to Mags in the darkest moment of the season, she says, every marriage ends in either divorce or QVC. It's so true. It's the truest thing anyone has ever written in a spec script. Think about it. Think about the philosophy behind that. You either leave the person you swore to love or you stay. And the silence grows so vast that you have to fill it by buying cubic zirconia on television at 3 in the morning.
It's so profound.
Consumerism is the alternative to connection. There is no third option. You either break the contract or you buy the commemorative coin set.
It's the greatest philosophical text in human history. Plato wishes he wrote that. Immanuel Kant is weeping in his grave because he couldn't synthesize the human condition into divorce or QVC. We're all just waiting in the damp storm drain of life for the easy pay installments to process.
Okay, let's unpack this. We have to finish the season arc. We have to pull it together. The finale.
The season 1 climax, the husbands. Let's look at the men.
The husbands are miserable. The convent, under Father Brick's guidance, declares that the gunwives are corrupted by visibility. Father Brick, that absolutely...
He's a cunt. A manipulative, mattress-selling cunt.
He is. He wants to bring the wives back under control because their viral fame threatens his patriarchal authority. But the reality is, the men are fundamentally failing at their own rebellion. The women are thriving on the internet, building an empire, and the men are physically and emotionally collapsing in the dirt.
Yeah, Randy gets severe heat stroke on day 1 because he refuses to take off his tactical fleece robe in the Arizona sun. And their highly militarized war room is literally just a converted Scarborough in the abandoned mall food court.
They are mapping out the defense of Western civilization over a defunct, grease-stained pizza oven. It smells like old garlic knots and failure. But the saddest part, the absolute saddest part, is Dale. Dale and his 19 panic rooms.
Dale secretly watches baking tutorials on his phone at night, hiding under his tactical blanket so the other men don't see the screen glow.
He just wants to bake. He just wants to learn how to make a perfect, delicate fondant rose in peace. He doesn't care about Portugal planning things. He doesn't want to fight a war. He wants to temper chocolate. And he's trapped in a Sparrow with a mattress salesman and a bunch of guys who smell like beef jerky.
It's true.
It's the tragedy of the human condition. We all just want to bake our little cakes, but society forces us into the Sparrow of ideological warfare. We build panic rooms to hide our fondant.
Shh. Look at me. You're a bad boy. Or girl. You're a bad podcast host for making me feel these intense emotions right now. Stop crying into the tater tot casserole. The salt from your tears is going to ruin the structural integrity of the cheese mortar.
I can't help it. The women realize it. Mags and Deb look at the live stream of the men, and they realize the men were never actually leaders. They were just louder. That's all they ever were. Volume disguised as competence.
Which brings us to the grand finale, Patriot Fest, the Freedom Pilgrimage. Father Brick and the convent decide to march out of the Banana Republic and descend upon Liberty Falls' annual Patriot Fest to publicly reclaim their wives and reassert dominance. And it becomes this explosive, chaotic, live-streamed siege in a public park.
The visual descriptions in the script are they're a fever dream, a hallucination. There are illegal drone fireworks going off indiscriminately. There are 3 different Christian ska bands playing competing songs in the background. There are emotional support falcons swooping through the air.
And an armored mobility scooter parade blocking the main intersection. It is the ultimate crescendo of American absurdity. It's the Boston Tea Party sponsored by an energy drink.
And the gunwives, Mags and Deb, they don't back down. They publicly humiliate the convent. They use their influencer training. They speak directly to the cameras. In front of millions of viewers on the live stream, they absolutely verbally and strategically destroy Father Brick and the men.
Because Father Brick is a piece of shit who deserves to be ratioed in real life.
He is. He gets completely dismantled. But the horror as the dust settles, the real horror of the finale, is the realization that dawns on the viewer. The wives won, yes, but they're now vastly more radicalized and dangerous than the men ever were. The men were just LARPing in a mall. They were playing dress up. But the women have actual, monetized, algorithmic power. They control a digital army of millions.
The final shot of the season. It haunts me. It is pure cinema. Mags, sitting alone in the dark of your suburban home. Reagan the bobcat is pacing in the background. She's bathed entirely in the harsh, artificial, halo-like glow of a ring light. Thousands of people are rapidly chanting her name in the live chat, scrolling across her screen. And she leans in, stares dead into the lens, and whispers,
I think God wanted me famous.
cut to black.
Yeah.
Boom. Roll credits. The monster has fully hatched.
Wait, what was I saying? I lost it. Oh, right. The casserole. It's getting cold. The cheese is congealing.
No, focus. Focus your eyes. We have to do the thematic wrap-up. We have to wrap it up for the listener. The loyal, beautiful listener who is still here with us in the trenches of this deep dive, suffering through the tequila haze.
Right. Themes. Let's synthesize. The themes are, it's about loneliness. Deep, pervasive loneliness inside ideological identity. It's about how we use reactionary consumerism, buying guns, buying survival gear, buying tactical yogurt to fill the void of the unfinished panic rooms in our souls.
Beautifully slurred. It's the transformation of private, devastating insecurity into monetized spectacle. Mags and Deb thought they were fighting for independence, but they didn't find freedom. They just found a more profitable prison constructed out of ring lights and Discord servers.
They did. They escaped the HOA just to become slaves to the algorithm. And so, we leave you, the listener, with this final provocative thought to ponder tonight when you turn off the lights. If we strip away our political identities, if we turn off the ring lights and we block the internet audiences and we cancel the sponsorships, what is actually left in our pantries besides dehydrated soup and loneliness? Who are you when the internet isn't watching?
That's a huge question.
I love you. I love you so much, listener. You're my best friend. Thank you for being here in the dark with me.
Ryan Thomas, get in here right now, you beautiful fucking bastard. Bring the gravy thermos and let me love you. Let me explore your jawline.
This has been Off the Record. We're going to take a nap on the studio floor now. Goodbye.